Good morning once again and welcome to another beautiful day. This is your favorite program at Numbered with Ramsey, Antonia, and Christopher. Well, it's a beautiful day. So many things happening, and we'd love to bring you to speed with every of the happenings. A few anyway, out of the so many things happening. Let's take you to the headlines for the day. But before then, Antonia, how do you feel about the happenings at the National Assembly?
It's been from one drama to
I think I
another,
like that. That's exactly what I would tell
one
you. Yeah.
drama to another.
Christopher is looking like someone who wants to get to the National Assembly and say, hey, Akpabio, what's happening?
With Akpabio, I am not surprised.
With Akpabio, I'm not surprised. All right, with Akpabio, Christopher is not surprised. Then from the leadership newspaper this morning, which is going to be the first paper, bandit demand 20 million naira ransom for 15 Sokoto students. Another headline from that place says that the details of that you can actually get on page 14 of the leadership newspaper. Page 12 of the leadership, we have this one which says President appoints FCT Commission Chair Head of Service. Then the big story. Okay, before the big story, I have this one from Shetima, which says, Tinubu has you in mind. Shetima tells Nigerians. I think Nigerians are itching to really know what he meant. Have us in mind, and we're going through all this, and it appears as if no one cares. All right, the big story from the leadership newspaper says 3 trillion naira budget padding. Ningi's journey. So 3-month suspension. So this is how this issue is going. Well, more of that later. And finally, from the leadership newspaper this morning, 3 Borno children die. 47,783 IDPs rendered homeless by fire. You can get that on page 12 of the leadership newspaper. This is pathetic. Fire outbreak at the IDP camp. Some lost their life, others displaced. I don't know where else they would want to go to. I think the federal government or the state government rather should come to their aid. All right, this is going to be the size of the headlines from the leadership newspaper this morning as we move to the next paper.
All right, from the Guardian newspaper this morning, budget padding. We are all culpable. Where are the we? Are you one of them?
Maybe
I think Antonia is one of them.
No, I'm not one
I've
of
not heard any
female was senator.
So we are giving you that privilege. Please join them to pad it.
No, no,
All
not
right.
at all.
5 million naira awards to ranking senators unsettled expose as rot. It is today another story from the NAS. Tomorrow another story from the NAS. So unfortunate that at this time where bandits are kidnapping people, demanding for ransom in millions of dollars and naira, the people representing us at the National Assembly are only here to steal from us too. But we are ready for them. Nigerians lament rising airfares as experts blame exchange rates. That story you will find on page 5. Court strikes out suit seeking Igbo's exit from Nigeria. You can get that story from page 29 of the Guardian newspaper. Revival of night patrols as prelude to reforming the police. All right, that is editorial from page 12. I think that is a nice one. If the police can from time to time move in the night, it will help to curtail the excesses of these kidnappers and one-chance people. Bandits capture another 30 as IGP visit Kaduna. Kaduna again in the news for the wrong reason. But that will be the size of our story from the Guardian newspaper this morning. Over to you, Antonia.
Thank you, Christopher. On the Nigerian Tribune, 3.325 trillion naira allocation. Reps worry over ravaging insecurity. And the details of that story is on page 8 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. And under that headline, we have a rider there. It says probe utilization of $20 million Safe School Fund, abduction of over 200 students. The next headline we'll be looking at is actually the big story. It says alleged 3.7 trillion naira budget padding. How senators nailed Ningi. And we have a lot of riders to that story. Opeyemi Musa Ibrahim Karimi orders set tone for his 3-month suspension. Jarigbe calls so-called senior senators. Claims so-called senior senators got 500 million naira each. Then the next one says, those who lost out in race for Senate presidency bent on Austin Akpabio, says the Senate leader. Courts can't stop suspension of Bauchi senator, says Senate spokesman. And then another rider says, Ningi resigns as Northern Senators Forum chairman. The final rider, Akpabio meets Tinubu. There are a lot of stories that are, everyone is now bringing in different sides to this story. A lot of things that are being revealed now. And we hope that the probe actually comes through and we get to the bottom of this matter. And then the next headline we'll be looking at, Osun governor raises alarm over planned attack on schools and farm. The details of that story is on page 30 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. And finally, World Trade Organization to boost Nigeria's non-oil exports with $1.2 million. The details of that story is on page 7 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. And that will be the size of the headlines from here.
Well, thank you, Antonia, for that headline. Let's quickly move to the next paper, which is the Daily Independent. Above the header, there is this headline which says, Ondo 2024 Guba Poll. Ayeda Tiwa declares governorship bid. Well, just one rider to that story, and that rider actually caught my fancy. Says Akeredolu will be proud of him. You know, the issue he had with Akeredolu when he was alive, when Akeredolu traveled for his medical trip. So many things happened. And on return, the first thing the late governor did was to sack all the media aides of the deputy governor. Now the deputy governor is contesting. He is the sitting governor at the moment because Akeredolu is no more. And he said Akeredolu will be proud of him if he emerges as the governor. Well, so more to that, many more, so much to that anyway. All right, the big story from the Daily Independent newspaper this morning, Senate in rowdy session, suspends Abdul Ningi for 3 months. I've got just 5 riders to that story. The first rider says 500 million naira constituency project scandal rocks upper chamber. The second rider says Babindele says there's plot to impeach Akpabio before July. I'm just getting to hear that. The third rider to that story says embattled Ningi resigns as chairman of Northern Senators Forum. So much to that. And you know what that implies. Another one says Ningi's suspension without inquiry amounts to cover up, says Horiwa. Meaning there's something they are trying to cover. So they want to send him on suspension so they could cover what they want to cover on time. Well, Ningi is not someone that you can just push aside. Someone that is the chairman of the Northern Governors Forum. You should know his pedigree at the National Assembly. The final rider to that story says Akpabio leads senators to see Tinubu after Ningi's suspension. Well, it's so good that the president is coming into this whole drama. On page 7 of the Daily Independent newspaper, which is actually going to be the last that I will take this morning, says Atiku accuses Tinubu of sponsoring reports that he is exiting PDP. Okay. He came out to do a disclaimer yesterday, actually, that there is nothing like that, that whoever that is sponsoring that is on its own. That's Atiku, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the 2023 presidential election. Well, this is going to be the size of the newspaper review this morning. You can quickly get to the vendors, pick any of the copy, all right, that you really want to go through this morning. Let's go on a quick break. After this break, we return, and it will be time for the big story. There is fire on the mountain, and you would want to know where that fire is burning and the cause of that fire.
Me, I'm not running.
You're not running, but a lot of people are running, especially these guys that are wear agbada up there. We'll be back after this break. Don't go nowhere.
Follow us on our social media handles at Oweleke TV. Visit our website at www.oweleketv for a thrilling journey. Oweleketv, rising star at the fairground.
Welcome back from that break. It is still outnumbered live on your screen with Ramsey, Antonia, and Christopher. This is that time when we bring you the big story. When we say big story on Outnumbered, you know what we're talking about. It's actually a big story. There is fire on the mountain. Oh, I don't know who is going to put off this fire. Christopher said a lot of people are running, but he's not running. But these men in Agbada, if they are running, then who are we? They set the fire, and the fire is burning right now. Let's quickly get to the National Assembly and bring you to speed with what is happening right there. So the big story from the leadership newspaper this morning says 3 trillion naira budget padding. Ningi's journey to 3-month suspension. You know, when things happen in this country, the approach, okay, to handling situations in this country sometimes is so funny. It's so funny. Why did I say it's so funny? Imagine a senator of that pedigree, talking about Abdul Ningi now, of the senator representing Bauchi Central Senatorial District, coming out to say, well, there is something fishy in the budget. And instead of the people say, oh, maybe there is a mistake somewhere, let's do the needful and put things straight, put things right. They go about doing, in fact, you need to see the rowdy session at the National Assembly, because as it is, some persons are in support, others are not in support. And some so-called, they call themselves senior senators, maybe because this is not their first term and they want to push things aside. But one thing that I've discovered since the emergence of Akpabio as the Senate president is that there are a lot of inconsistencies. So many things happening. I don't know. Maybe this is going to be the last time he's going to handle a political office. I don't know. But then, so many things happening from the National Assembly. But what is actually breaking the camel's back right now is the resignation letter put forward by Ningi, saying he's resigning from his position as the chairman of the Northern Senators. Do you know what that implies? Do you know what that means? Well, my colleagues will add their voice to the conversation, because as it is right now, the fire is burning. Let's see if there will be the fire service that will put off the fire this morning. All right. Christopher, as it is right now, apart from the fact that Ningi has said, I am not going back, I know what I'm saying, this suspension still came. And not just the suspension. Remember, the suspension was supposed to be a year. For a year.
Yeah, but
it was
said
later
3 months.
They reduced it to 3 months. Don't be surprised that he may be called off, all right, before the expiration of the 3 months. And he is about the 7th senator that is facing suspension now since 1999. As it is right now, Christopher, do you think this approach is good enough for our democracy?
Well, it's so unfortunate that this is happening right now in the nation's polity, because we are faced with a lot already, like I said earlier. And instead of those who are elected to serve us, to help us to get it right, especially with the security issues. Here we are talking about budget padding again, from 3 trillion naira to 500 million naira for the, how do they call it now? The big senators or the special
Senior
senators,
senators.
senior
quotes.
senators in quotes. Well, like I said yesterday on the program, one of the things I found not okay with was that Ningi, up to this moment, has not come out to give detail of his allegation. And it is on that note that the Senate took advantage of and gave him suspension. I would have I expected him to at least come out to say, this place, this place, this place. By the way, he also denied on the floor of the House yesterday that he never said the country is running to budget, because they said the one approved at the National Assembly is 25 trillion. Meanwhile, the one that is being used here is
28.
28 trillion. Now, in that case, you come out with analysis of the differences. You show them. Yesterday, I watched a program where the president of Budget, talking about Shehu Nimbide, saying that in a way he was right, but where he was wrong is simply because he was not able to substantiate his allegation.
And the media is his friend. He
And
should come to the media
exactly.
and just blow
Now,
this
as
thing out.
somebody who is not just member of, what is it called, chairman of the Northern Senators Forum, he has been on the floor of the House for years.
For years.
So I expect him to know the intricacies that surrounds the National Assembly, the instant rules or law that surrounds the National Assembly, and to also use that to hit the nail straight on the head. So those lags in his analysis is the reason why they felt he lied against the National Assembly. Yeah, if you cannot substantiate your claim, you are giving them room to nail you. This is where we are. But again, this resignation letter that came out yesterday from him is a very big blow to
The Northern Senators.
to the Northern Senators and also
To
the
Akwa
president himself. Bauchi State.
No wonder the president had to intervene.
Bauchi
Yeah.
State is a PDP state. The implication is that this man, the governor, the senator, the House of Rep, the governor of the state, will now make it look like, okay, Akpabio and Tinubu are frustrating their member, their biggest senator, of course. So they are going to stand against Tinubu's re-election. But of course, Tinubu is a smart politician. Inviting them yesterday is to see how to quell this problem. I wish them well, but may Nigeria be better on that part.
May Nigeria be better on that part. All right, Antonia, he said something. He said, well, we've not heard from any female senator reacting to that. On behalf of the female senators.
Am I in the National Assembly? Maybe we need to go there and interview some of them.
As
Yes.
a media person.
We need to go there to interview some
You are
of
a
them to know their
watchdog of the
thoughts.
society,
Yeah,
so-
absolutely.
So
To know their
let's
thoughts.
look at it from this perspective
Yeah.
now. Ningi's resignation and him not coming out. At least one of the ways you can easily express your feelings is do a press briefing at least. It's not going to cost you anything. Let the people know. Substantiate
Your claims.
your claims. It's as easy as that. But up till now, we've not had anything. But he is insisting. He's been bent on it's been padded. Okay? And some of the persons are so kicking against it right now. Meaning, actually, there might be something wrong. They said not 3 trillion, that it's 1 trillion or something. But then, at all, what do you think? The Senator Ningi, is he doing the right thing? And the withdrawal, is that what he's supposed to do?
You know, there are different sides to this. Like Christopher mentioned, when you come out with a claim saying the budget was padded, there ought to be a detailed document showing where the budget was padded. And if you're not coming up with that, your words can often be misconstrued. And that's the reason why on the floor of the House he was saying, no, I didn't say this, I said this. If there is a document in black and white,
Exactly.
everybody understands English. And even those that may not understand English, they will interpret to them in their local dialect and even sign language. And everyone will see it clearly that this is what was written and this is what is being operated. So not coming out clearly to Nigerians, to the Senate, because trust in the Senate House, there are a lot of people that will be in charge of this padding, and they don't want to go down for it. So definitely they will kick against it. There will be intimidation. And I'm sure Ningi has seen that, you know what, I said what I said. I know what I'm talking about. But since there are a lot of irregularities around this and it doesn't want to be amicably settled, let me just step down. Let me leave. Because yesterday, the Northern Senators Forum, they disowned him. And imagine he's the chairman. So them disowning him, it says a lot. It says a lot about the irregularities in the National Assembly that needs to be addressed. And not just about this Ningi's case. There's also other issues that will also come up in the future. If this is not treated properly, that will come up in the future, and you see that the house will always be rowdy. We'll always have a reputation of what happened yesterday.
All right, we may have a reputation of what happened yesterday if this one is not handled well. All right, this is going to be the size of the big story. The fire is on, but let's see how it is actually going to end. Oh, I don't know, but then you can be part of this, all right? Just go to the comment section, drop your comment and your reactions. My name is Ramsey Enoch, and it's been Anthony Nwokolo and Christopher Sunday. We'll come your way again, and won't say have a beautiful day. Bye-bye for now.